All right, guys, let's get right into this because I promised I would update you on our little barrel race that we were going to, and I want to give that update. So, eventful night, about maybe like 2 miles, 3 miles or something from the race. My truck started to do something real wacky, vibrating, like a smoking smell. Not good. So we managed to limp in like 30 miles an hour, limp in to get to the actual fairgrounds where the barrel race was being held. You know, if you've ever been stranded on the side of the road, that's a really scary situation. It's even scarier when you have a horse trailer with live horses in it behind you. So if I can get off the road and into a safe spot, I'm going to make sure I do that. So luckily, the truck limped its way there, and we made it to the actual fairgrounds where the race was going to be held. Now, obviously, I'm like, this is bad. The truck is not going to get us back home. We got to figure out a way to get the truck towed, a way to get the horses, the trailer towed. Like, everybody's got to get back home safe. So, stressful situation. But I did make it to the fairgrounds, and I'm like, okay, well, you know what? In between all the calls and the texts trying to find help and tow services and all of that, I was like, I'm here. Might as well still make my runs on my horses. So in between doing all the phone calls and trying to find help, you know, I'm getting packed up, getting ready to go, get on my first horse that I'm going to run. Excuse me. Go to the warm-up pen, get warmed up, all the things. Actually are at the gate, ready to go into the alley, thinking we're the next horse and rider to run. And I'm on my horse Cheyenne, who she very much loves her job. So if she's at the gate, if she's at the alley, she is ready to be full throttle. Like, she is on the muscle, you know, ready to get in there and get it done. So I'm on her, and of course she's kind of bebopping all over the place because it's like we're thinking we're next to go in. And they open the gate, and instead of calling my name to run, they say, oh, I'm a scratch, and they call the next girl to go in, and the next girl comes up behind us and takes off to go into the alley. I'm like, what the heck just happened? So I said to the person running the gate, I was like, why did you scratch me? We're here, we're ready to run. And anyway, it was kind of a debacle, but long story short, I guess when I entered online, you also pay online. And completely unknown to me, I guess there was some issue with the credit card processing. So I had no idea, but they apparently didn't get a payment. It didn't show up on my end of the screen. Like, when I'm looking at the entry system, it never showed up to me that there was a problem, and to me it looked like we were still entered and everything was good, but on their end, they had that we were scratched for lack of payment. So I'm on my horse talking to the gate girl about this. We figure out that's the problem, and I say, hey, okay, that's fine. Like, I'll go up to the office. I'll take care of it, make sure the payment has gone through. Can I just run my horse because I'm already here, I'm already on her, she's ready to go, and then I'll go up and take care of this afterwards? And they're like, no, we can't let you do that. You'll have to, you know, get off, put yourself as what we call an add-on. So that basically means you enter late after the race has started, so they put you at the very end of the pack to run as an add-on, last behind everyone else that was already entered in the draw. And I told them, I said, that's not going to work. I have 2 horses here. I'm supposed to be running 2 horses. I can't run them back to back because I have to switch saddles. I have to get them both warmed up. You know, it's the whole process. And they were like, well, sorry, like, you're out of luck. And mind you, you're already coping with the fact that you don't have a way to get back home safely because your truck is not working. So you're already you're already using, and this is where I'm going with talking about this. Again, this podcast is not necessarily about horses. It's about life and mental health and being the best version of ourselves. And I use the horses because they seem to always give us good situations to talk about when it comes to these things. But I'm already kind of maxed out on coping skills, and that's what I want to talk about a little bit, because the brain is like, I think of the brain as a muscle, and of course it's not a muscle, but I think of it like a muscle. And just like when you are doing bicep curls, for example, like you can do a certain amount, but then you start to get fatigued, and then it starts to be harder. And then you're going to actually get to a point where you cannot do another bicep curl until you take a break, you take a rest, and you let that muscle recover, rebuild back its energy, and get ready to go again to do another bicep curl. And the brain is very similar to that as far as what it can be capable of. And when you are going through a period of emotion or stress or anxiety or whatever it is, your brain has the ability to cope, or at least healthy brains have the ability to cope, and working on mindfulness and mental health will give you more ability to cope, but that's a talk for another day. But but a normal, healthy brain does have the ability to cope with emotional and stressors on some level, but it's not unlimited. And depending on how good you are at practicing mental health and mindfulness and practicing getting better at doing those coping skills, depending on how good your brain is at it will depend on how much it can handle at one time. But the point is, all of us have we do not have an unlimited amount of reserve. So if you're going through a period of stress or emotion or agitation or anxiety or whatever, it's not unlimited. You can take a certain amount, but then that muscle is going to get out, and you're going to lose emotional control. And instead of thinking with your brain from a cognitive, logical, problem-solving position, your brain is going to revert back to its most primal instincts and most primal ways of functioning, which is to turn into kind of this fight or flight dinosaur brain, where it just is going to lash out. It's going to try to flee the scene. It's going to do all those fight or flight things that it does. So it's important for us to recognize that about ourselves, and then understand that is what is happening when we feel our emotions are getting heightened to the point where we feel like we're starting to lose control of our thinking and our behavior. So last night, I recognized I'm already in kind of this period, this emotionally heightened state, because I'm really stressed about how the heck am I going to get my horses home safe, let alone get my truck and trailer out of here. But main concern, how do I get my horses home safe? So I'm already a little bit up there as far as not having as much reserve. And then this thing happens where, I'm ready to go. The horse is ready to go. We're at the alley. We've done all the warm-ups and everything. And now it's last minute, you're scratched. And then on top of that, I'm trying to be a problem solver, and I'm like, okay, I understand. Let me still run this horse. After I run this horse, I'll go up to the office. I'll make sure all my payments are good, and then I can still run my second horse at the end of the race. And they're like, nope, that's not good enough either. So basically it was just you're trying to solve problems, and you're just hitting brick walls over and over. And that will really make us stressed out, obviously, because like you feel like you're trying to control the situation, you're trying to problem solve, and you're hitting brick walls. And that will, when we're going to talk a lot about the brain on here and more podcasts to come, but the brain likes to problem solve, and when it feels like it's being boxed out and can't find a solution to a problem, again, that's another reason that your brain will really start to go into the primal fight or flight dinosaur mode kind of brain where, logical, critical thinking, problem solving isn't working. So I'm just going to revert to animal instinct of I gotta fight my way out of here. I gotta flee my way out of here. I'm running from the tiger, like that whole mentality. So I realized that I was starting to kind of feel emotionally overwhelmed last night, and I made myself pause. And I've gotten pretty good at doing this, especially around the horses, because horses feed off of your energy. So you better have your emotions under control when you're around these animals, because if you don't, they will pick up on every emotional energy signal you're sending out, and they will start to mirror it. So it can become a very dicey situation if you're not careful. So I've really gotten a lot better, especially when I'm around the horses. When I feel my emotions starting to creep up, and I feel my frustration starting to creep up, and I feel those coping mechanism reserves that I have starting to dwindle, I've gotten pretty good about taking a breath, taking a pause, and trying to reset. And that's what I did last night. I felt myself getting very frustrated and emotional, and I just said to the people at the gate when all this chaos is happening, meanwhile I'm still on my horse. My horse is like jumping all around because she's eager to get in the alley to make her run. And I just paused, and I took a breath, and I just said, okay, I'm going to disengage from the situation. We're going to take a breather. So I told the people, I said, all right, thank you for trying to help, and got off my horse, unstitched her saddle. We walked back to the trailer, and I just took a minute to just relax and just calm down. And then reset your energy. And so that's what I did. I was like, we're here. We came here tonight to make these runs. Nothing really seems to be working out. Now, could I have still potentially put one of the horses on as an add-on and try to make a run at the end of the night, or, do something like that? I could have, but at that point, the old saying, you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. Like at some point, it's like maybe God is just saying I shouldn't make a run on these horses tonight. Like maybe, I don't know. Like sometimes when the universe speaks to you, sometimes you just need to listen. And it's like I already had all this chaos. Like we still have no way home. So like I need to really be focused on figuring out how we're getting out of here, not riding the horses. So I was like, maybe this is just, somebody's trying to tell me to just not make a run tonight. Like, let's just focus on being safe. Let's focus on getting home, and we will live to fight the battle another day. And so that's what I did. I unpacked I unpacked my one horse, started to get the trailer like all situated to get back home, and got back on the phone with. So I'm lucky. I have the roadside assistance company called US Rider, and it's basically like a AAA, except it's a roadside assistance company that will also cover trailers. And if you have AAA, you probably know they don't cover anything you're towing behind a vehicle. So US Rider will. So I have them, and I had already been on the phone with them, and they were also in the background working like I was to work in to try to find someone to help. They were also trying to find people to help. So luckily, at around this point, I get a call from U.S. Rider and they say, hey, we have found, somebody who will come pick up the truck and a second person that will come pick up the trailer and the horses and you and get you guys back to the barn. The other person will take the truck back, to the mechanic. And I'm like, perfect. That's perfect. And they said they'll be there in about an hour and a half. And I'm like, okay, perfect. So I got everything with the trailer situated, got it ready for them for when they came to get it picked up. And I still probably had like 40 minutes to kill. And it was too late to make a run in the barrel race. But I was like, well, I have 40 minutes. I might as well ride Whiskey, my other horse, and, just in the warm-up pen, ride her around, work her, get her some exercise. And so we did that, and that was a good experience for her because her journey right now is all about building confidence and us building trust together, out in these environments. So that was really beneficial for her. It was a nice, easy little workout for both of us, but good for her mind, which is what we're working on. So, it ended up being probably exactly what we needed. And it's it's cliche, but it's the truth. Everything in life is what you make of it, and everything in life is how you look at it. And I easily could have, in regards to the way last night went, I easily could have said, I can't believe how terrible this night was. I can't believe how I didn't even get to make a run on my horses, and now my truck is in the shop and it's going to need repairs, and what a waste of time. And we didn't get home until 1 a.m. because we had to wait 3.5 hours for tow trucks, and what a disaster. I easily could say that. I easily could think that. But I chose last night. I made the conscious, cognitive, critical thinking, logical decision not to think and not to feel and not to say those things. Instead, what I did is I flipped the switch in my brain and I said, you know what? Maybe the universe is telling me tonight is not the night to make a barrel run for whatever reason. Maybe I need to just listen and look at how fortunate we are. The truck actually managed to get us to the fairgrounds, so we're at a safe space. Even if we have to wait 5 hours for tow trucks, we're at a safe environment. We're not stuck on the side of the road. I have 2 healthy horses who are safe and sound. I got to ride Whiskey around the warm-up pen in kind of a noisy environment, which was really good for her where she's at mentally and what she needs mentally from a confidence perspective. And I was lucky and fortunate enough that I was smart enough to get a roadside assistance, company, that I had that plan for this exact reason. So when things go bad, you have help, you have somebody who can hopefully come help you. And it's not going to cost you, a ton of money because it's already something you're paying into as an insurance program. So lots of things to be thankful for and lots of reasons to be grateful that the night went as well as it did. I mean, we could have been stuck on the side of the road waiting for hours for these tow trucks. Whatever's wrong with my truck, I don't know what it is, but it could have caused a crash, perhaps, and we could have been in a very unsafe situation. How we perceive what is happening to us, choosing to find the good in it instead of focusing on the bad in it is a choice. And having that perspective, that positive perspective on all your situations is going to be in your best interest. you have a limited amount of coping mechanisms that you're working with, and understanding that when you feel your brain getting emotional, getting, kind of to its limit, it's important for you to be aware of that and to say, all right, we're going to take a breath. We're going to take a breather. We're going to take a pause. We're going to reset, and we're going to choose. We're going to choose how we are going to view the situation. We're going to choose how we're going to perceive what is happening to us. We're going to choose to find the positive things and be grateful for them instead of focusing on the negative things. We're going to choose how we react in a logical manner, not in emotionally heightened dinosaur brain manner. We're going to choose how we react to the situation. We're going to make the best of it, and we are going to be in control of the way our mind is thinking, working, and our emotions. And when you can start to practice that and to do that, it's going to be so much better for every aspect and avenue of your life. So wanted to just let you guys know how last night went for us. Definitely an experience. Definitely not the way I thought the night was going to go, but definitely grateful that everyone is home safe and sound. Definitely grateful that I got to work Whiskey in the warm-up arena at least and get her out there, get her confidence, starting to build her confidence back up in those environments. Definitely grateful for US Rider. If any of you out there listening do haul, trailers behind you, horse trailers, campers, stock trailers, like boats, whatever it is. If you have trailers that you haul around, especially if you go all over the country like me, I highly recommend looking into them. They've bailed me out a couple of times. Again, it's never been fast. Like in total, we probably waited, probably 4.5 hours last night from the first phone call to them till the time they actually got there to pick us up. It was about 4.5 hours. So again, not super quick for them to find these people to come get, the trailer and the horses. But they did eventually get it done, and it was definitely better than having nobody. So, definitely look into them if you haul, things behind your vehicles, because that little security blanket, can be very valuable if you get into a situation where you need it. So, until we talk again next time, I hope everyone has a great rest of your day, great week, whatever the case may be. All right. Talk again soon. Bye.